Hi, I'm Ashley. This is Life Beyond Locks, and today I'm talking specifically to cancer patients. So if that's you and you are looking into getting chemotherapy and you're not sure where to go in terms of alternative hair, hopefully this episode is for you. So we're going to jump right into it. First of all, if you are battling cancer right now, please accept my sincere sympathy. I can only imagine how difficult that is. And what has prompted this is actually my mother was recently diagnosed with glioblastoma. It is inoperable. And so she is starting radiation and chemotherapy as we speak. And in having that happen, it really kind of prompted this conversation about alternative hair in the midst of dealing with health issues. And so I realized that this was now the time for me to film this video. I'm not gonna lie, I usually have sort of an outline of what I wanna cover, but I thought I'm just gonna hit record because it just sort of came to me that I should do it. And so that's what I'm going to do. And of course, if you have questions or comments, you can always leave them below or send me a DM if you want it to be more private, and I will help you in whatever way that I can with regards to the hair loss aspect of cancer. I didn't feel qualified to film this video before just because I've never experienced hair loss from cancer. I have alopecia, and it was really in watching that question come up with my mom that I realized if I don't talk about it, who will? And luckily there are a lot of survivors out there, I'm sure, who are filming videos like this, but I don't know any of them. And I'm not sure how many people are filming these types of videos. So, I'm going to try to do it in a way that is most practical for you. And if you don't find it practical, that's okay. Like I said, reach out to me and I'll see what I can do to try to help guide you in whatever way works for you. And I also recognize that everybody has their own battles and are going to be dealing with things differently. And then everybody comes from different price points, and there's going to be limitations to what you can do when you're already battling your health and trying to make finances work in that way. So please know that I'm aware of this as I make recommendations. Some of them will be at a higher price point, some of them will be at a lower price point, and there is something available for every budget. But I'm just going to talk about sort of like what I know in the conversation that I had with my mom when I was visiting her out of province last week. Okay, so in talking to my mom about getting alternative hair, the conversation right away was about wigs, not toppers. So if you've been here before, you know that I am a topper girl. I wear toppers every day. It doesn't mean I don't love wigs. I want to jump into that world full time, but toppers are what I know, and they're kind of where I've been niched down into because I know toppers. I tend to work with companies that offer toppers, or I work on the topper side of the company because of that. But fortunately, there isn't a huge difference between toppers and wigs, and so I was able to give my mom, I think, some sound advice. So really what it comes down to, I showed her the difference between a silk top and a mono top, and if that's where you are, like you're really at the beginning stages and you want to know the differences in different cap constructions and things like that, you can go back and watch that video. But what I plan to do here today is to talk about the different types of pieces that you might want to consider having as you go into chemotherapy. And of course, not everybody loses hair from chemotherapy. So having a reliable supplier or place to purchase sort of like on standby could be helpful as well. The other thing that you might want to do, and I'm kind of going off course here now, is if you do find a company that you want to work with or that you'd like to purchase from in the event that you do lose your hair, you could always ask them to extend the return policy for you. And I'm not saying that they're going to do it, but I also know that most of the women who work in this world, they have really big hearts. They work with women who have hair loss and they've dealt with cancer patients before. And maybe something can be arranged so that you can hang on to the piece for a couple of weeks and see if you do lose your hair, and if you don't, that you can return it, or maybe they can put one aside and put it on hold for you so that you can see what happens with your hair. And if you do lose your hair, that they ship it out then. So there are different options. There's also a really great hair loss community online of women who sell secondhand pieces. So if you're looking for something within a budget, those girls can help you. And of course, for some people, insurance will cover it. I live in Canada. I'm a teacher in Canada. We're known to have sort of like the best benefits, and I get $500 for a lifetime on a wig. So that's not really very much. So I would be looking at those, secondhand opportunities. Okay, so the pieces that I'm going to talk about today. I'm so sorry. I have allergies, so I feel like I'm going to have to stop a million times today. When we had our conversation, my mom and I, about wigs, it really came down to the difference between human hair and synthetic hair. So my mom went to the cancer center in her city and they had pieces, but all of the pieces that they had for her were synthetic. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I showed her some of the videos of me in synthetic pieces, and there was one in particular that she really, really loved the look of. And so this isn't to say that synthetic is bad. In fact, there are a lot of people out there who say things like that, and I disagree with that. First of all, not everyone has a budget for human hair, but secondly, there are a lot of benefits to synthetic hair. And so among those, I'm just going to do a pros and cons. Pros, they keep their shape generally no matter what. So you wash them, you get them wet, that style pops back. You never have to style a synthetic piece, and that is probably the best benefit to it. They're also really fast to dry. So if you get caught in a rainstorm, if you go into a pool, it should bounce back right away. Number two, color will never fade, never oxidize. You never have to worry about the color changing. It is the synthetic fiber that has that color, and it will always maintain that color. So if your battle is a little bit longer and you're going to be wearing this piece for a while, a human hair piece, by contrast, whatever color it is, that color will fade in the sun. It will fade as you wash it, as you use heat styling tools on it. The color is going to change and you're going to have to get it recolored. Now, I've been able to stretch the life of mine with being very careful to over a year without needing any care. Like, it still looks fine. But the average person needs to get it done about every 6 months or so. So if you're, wanting to have that lifespan and not worry about it, then synthetic is for you. That said, a synthetic wig probably won't last you more than 6 months, especially if you're going for a heat-friendly synthetic option, which has the most natural looking fibers, is the heat-friendly one. If you're going with that one, it tangles more easily and the fiber will break down and become frizzy over time. So if you want it to look pristine, you're probably going to need to get a second one at that 6 month mark-ish, give or take, depending on how you care for the piece. So keep that in mind. That said, it will still come up to less money to get 2 synthetics than it would probably to get 1 human hair wig. Maybe even 3 synthetics, depending on the brand that you get. But you're gonna have to take the pros with the cons. So the pros are the color, that the style is maintained, and the price point. It really gives you an option to have a good entry price. If you want to change up your hairstyle, like you're not shy about having different hair and it doesn't have to look exactly like your bio hair, you can get a bunch of different kinds of pieces for the same price as 1 human hair piece by going synthetic, and then you can change them out with the length, the color, bangs, no bangs, you can have a little bit more fun with it. So that's sort of where synthetic is good. Where human hair is good, well, it's human hair, so it's going to look like your natural hair. This is a topper, this is a wig, both of them human hair, and so it looks incredibly natural, right? I mean, this does go through a process, this one less so because it's a wavy piece, but both have gone through a process, often to defrizz, to straighten, to bleach, and then add color to it. So it's gone through a lot of processing, and then the risk of losing that color over time is there. You will have to style it the way you style your own hair, and the style won't just bounce back. If I were to let this one go, it wouldn't look like this. I need curls in it. I need to heat style it to get it to come back to this kind of a look. If you're going for something that has a more natural wave, then obviously this is what the piece will look like after washing. In fact, this one I just spritzed a bunch of water into it to get the wave to come back. So that's easy, but if you're looking for something polished, you're gonna have to spend the time heat styling it. It's gonna look more realistic though, and that is definitely a plus for some people. Price point is much, much higher. So if you're not sure if you're gonna continue to wear the piece, once you have recovered and you're in remission, then it's a big investment. You can sell them though, and they do often retain quite a bit of their value if they're well cared for, so that shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, so you got to decide, do you want the human hair? Do you want the synthetic? I haven't shown you a synthetic yet. This would be a synthetic. One of the comments that people make about synthetics, especially the people who don't like them, is that they say they are excessively shiny. So I don't know if I actually feel that that's so true all the time, especially heat-friendly fibers. They look realistic to me, and when I touch it, it doesn't feel plasticky like Barbie hair or anything like that. Like, the fibers feel good. So I'm not sure if that's true. This one's probably looking a little bit more dull because it's a frizzy piece and I just gave it a good spray of water. This one in the middle is shiny because it's a different type of hair. It's not a Euro hair. It's probably a Brazilian grade hair that's really been like stripped down and processed to maintain style and things like that. And because of it, it's going to look a little bit less realistic, even though it's human hair, and a little bit shinier. And then we have this synthetic piece right here. So you can see like a wavy synthetic versus a wavy human hair piece. There is a clear difference there. This one does look more quote unquote fake, I guess. But there's still really good movement in it. And like, I don't know, I'd wear it in public. I don't think that it's that obvious, to be honest. The one drawback though to the synthetic wig is that the lace that they're going to use on it, so right here is the lace front piece, and that piece is going to be more abrasive, more rough than a really high quality lace top wig than the ones you would get in a luxury wig shop or online. So just bear that in mind. It has wefting around here. Those shouldn't be too itchy, but really it's this piece for me that took some getting used to. Now, not a big deal for this girl, because I wear toppers every day. I'm used to wearing pieces. I can handle wearing this, no problem. It's not really gonna bother me anymore, but if you are brand new to wearing a piece on your head, comfort, it might be a factor. And this is going to be less comfortable than a human hair lace top wig, like, let me grab one for you here. Sorry. Like this one. This has just got a softer inside. The wefts are kind of concealed with like a silky material. You have this lace bit, and the only part that might be uncomfortable is the little bit of lace there that's joining those two, the lace top piece to the wefting. So if you're looking for comfort, the human hair pieces, and you can even get a medical cap that will have silicone to help grip. It'll be ultra soft. Those are going to be a superior comfort to the human hair inside cap. That said, you can get hand tied. You can get an upgraded cap in the synthetic, but it's going to come at a higher price point, whereas something like this is very, very affordable. This one, by the way, is the Belle Tress Dalgona 16, Dalgona 14. I'll have to check, but it is the Dalgona in brown sugar sweet cream. This one is my Innerbelleza piece. And so yeah, the difference there is in the cap, and that will lead to a difference in comfort is the type of lace that they use. This lace is much softer on the head, and so we'll have a less of a period of adjustment than the other one. So you have to find something probably, right? Or you can wear a turban. They're made of really nice soft material. So you could do a turban, you could do a hat. If you want to go with a wig, you have the choice between the synthetic or the human hair. Those are your two options there. And basically it just covers your entire head. So it won't matter that you don't have any hair underneath. No one's going to know. The other wig that I was holding up though is something else that you might want to consider if you are losing your hair for any reason, but potentially due to chemotherapy, is to buy yourself a Hustle Wig. And I still haven't removed, I thought I was going to send this back. I'm going to rip the tag off because it's not going back now. They give you, the cool thing about this company is they give you options. So when you order, unless you're in Canada, if you're in the United States, you can order 2 pieces and then you try on both and then you send one back. So it's sort of like a free try on. And so you can go with like a wavy piece like this or a lighter wave piece if you want. You can try 2 different colors to see which color is going to match you better, but you do have some flexibility there and sort of a risk-free try on. So the reason I thought I was going to send it back is I got 2, and then in the end I'm keeping both of them. They're both so beautiful. So why am I showing you this? Well, if you do have enough money or enough budget to be able to purchase 2 pieces, and you know, let's say you get the synthetic or you get your human hair piece that's sort of like your nice going out, running errands, whatever it is, everyday piece. You may also want something that just provides like absolute maximum comfort for you and that doesn't look so done up. One of the criticisms that my daughter often has, and I've talked about it many, many times before, she's 10 and she's sassy, is that my hair looks too perfect to be realistic. So she feels that when I wear a piece like this, one that I'm wearing right now. My hair looks too perfect. No one's hair really, really looks like that. And I think that's in part because she's used to seeing me when I go to work, I look like this. And when I'm at home in the summertime, I'm like a baseball cap or like, you know, hair in a messy bun kind of mom. And so if the budget allows for it, having this type of wig, it's called a Hatfall wig, is such a nice thing to have in your rotation. And I talked about this with my mom because she does love, like my mom, you know, she cleans up so beautifully and she looks lovely when she gets done up, but she's also someone who's really happy to just throw on a baseball hat. And so she's like a perfect candidate to have a Hatfall wig like this one in her rotation because it's so effortless and so easy, and it can protect your, you know, more luxury piece, or even if you have a synthetic piece, you know, you don't want it to get too tangled. Something like this kind of Hatfall wig is so good at saving your other piece and giving it some longevity. And the price point for these is pretty good in my opinion, especially for the quality of hair, the length of hair, and the multitude of options that they give you at the time of purchasing. So how it basically works is a normal cap. So if I show you the inside, you have these like really breathable wefts. It's almost like a lace, like a that you would get for a lace top wig. It's not itchy, it's soft, and it has strips of hair sewn into it. And then at the very top, and there's adjustment tabs, which all wigs will have, by the way. They should all have adjustment tabs to make them bigger or smaller, depending on your needs. But then what it has at the top here is, so there's lace on this side, and there's no hair coming from here. So obviously with every other wig that I show you, there's hair coming from the roots, so it looks like it's your hair. For this one, they're anticipating that you're gonna wear a hat over top. And so they remove the hair, or they don't add hair to the top of the wig. So that's how they cut the cost and make it affordable. But two, the hat will sit so much better. Oftentimes girls have said to me, that sounds like such a waste of money. Why don't I just wear my hat with my wig or with my topper? Like I wear toppers, but why wouldn't I just wear a hat on top of my wig? Then I can take my hat off and my wig still looks good. Will the wig look good underneath is the question. So if you go to all the trouble of heat styling a wig and then you put a hat on it, you now have to heat style that wig again the next day, right? And that will cause wear and tear. That will cause the color to strip. It's going to cause potentially different problems. But with this one, the top of the head is protected. The hair therefore is not going to get like a bunch of traction on it. And the hat will sit better. If you're going to wear a hat on top of a wig, you're probably, especially unless you have a lot of hair to begin with, like you're someone who had a ton of hair pre-chemo, if you didn't have very, very thick hair, you have a ball cap that probably fits you, or a toque or a sun hat that fits your original head size with your original bio hair. Wigs are bulky, and so you probably have to go up a size in a lot of those caps, and some of them won't fit. This will allow your normal pieces to fit far more comfortably and far more easily because it's not giving you all that extra density and weight at the top. And so it's super comfortable on the inside. I talked about there's lace on the outside, and on the inside, it's almost like a soft t-shirt material. It's super soft. They've sewn on here. And so it maximizes the comfort. I wore this to a baseball game last Sunday. I got home from my trip to see my mom. My son was, his team was brought to one of the pro games, and they got to go out on the field, and I was in such a hurry. You know, I had been jet lagged. I got out of the shower. I didn't want to have to style my hair to wear a topper. And even if I wear a topper with a baseball cap, my own hair's showing. So I was like, it's a wig kind of day. My hair was still damp. I really quickly blow dried it just a little bit to get some of the wetness out. And I threw this on and then wore a baseball cap with a low ponytail to the game. I blended right in, right, wearing a baseball cap to that event. And I was so comfortable that day because there's nothing in here that's going to irritate your scalp. And though I do have hair, I don't have a lot of it. So if there was something, you know, itchy or prickly on the inside of the cap, it would definitely bother me because I don't have enough actual bio hair to protect my scalp from those types of, you know, aggressors. So definitely something to consider if you are experiencing hair loss from chemotherapy is to have, if you can afford it in your budget, to have the piece that you sort of go to every day, and then have something like a Hatfall wig, like this one from the Hustle Wig, to wear underneath. Of course, you can heat style her as well if you want her to have some loose waves or whatever, but because I have curly hair, I actually like the natural wave in this one, and this is the quote-unquote wavy piece that they offer in the color dark brown. I also have one in a medium brown that is just gorgeous, and it's in the looser wave. So those, I think, are the key things to consider when you're purchasing for either yourself as someone who's going through chemotherapy or for a friend or family member who's going through chemotherapy, is to consider the differences between the synthetic and the human hair, and then also what you'll be wearing it for. So should you have something that looks more proper and done up, or do you want to go for something that looks a little bit more realistic for the day-to-day? If that's the case, getting something with a natural wave or getting a hustle wig like this alongside another wig can be a really good option. The other thing to consider, if you don't want to shock sort of yourself when you look in the mirror, is to go with things that look most natural on you, and that is going to be a piece that looks most like your bio hair before you lost it. So go with the same kind of style, cut, color, and then you can always play around later, but definitely minimize the density if you don't have a lot of hair to start with, and try to just emulate the style you would have had before, because no matter what you do, it's going to look different. And then once you've adjusted, if you want to play around, you can play around then. I wish you the very, very best in your fight. And if there's anything that I can do to provide more clarity on the decision to purchase a piece, let me know. As I said, my DMs, they're always open. Take care.